Probyn Book Club. I am here with the delightful, always delightful Jack Probyn, who writes much darker books than he looks like. You look so sweet, and then I open your books, and I'm like, ooh, okay, really going for it again. We're going to celebrate the launch of book 2. So introduce yourself, and tell us a bit about the Tomek series, Tomek Bowen.
Hello, everyone. So, as Sam said, I am Jack Probyn. Again, yes, I do write books slightly darker than the way I look. I think it's probably the hair that makes me look a little bit sweeter than I am. I have done a couple of series in the past. Jake Tanner, you may have seen it on the group. But recently, last month, I published the first book in my new series, which is the DS Tomek Bowen Essex Murder Mystery series, which is set where I am from. Here is a copy of it here. And book 2 has come out today on Kindle.
Congratulations. I've just tagged a few members in, so they will be able to find us. I want to start with Death's Push. Now, I know the main one we're just gonna focus on this series, really, aren't we? Yeah. We will talk about all 3, but Death's Push is can we class it as novella? I'm not sure how many words it is.
That's a good question. I wrote the thing and I can't remember how long it is.
That's probably because it was a while ago.
No, it was earlier this year. I think it was like a couple of months ago. I think it's circa 20 to 30.
So novelette.
Just under 30, I think, actually.
Should we go with a novelette? But it's brilliant. And I only read that today. So anyone who wants to read that needs to sign up for your newsletter.
Yes. Yeah. So obviously the whole part of being a little independent me is to get people on my mailing list, give you a freebie, and then hopefully you stick around. You like it, firstly, and then you stick around for some more.
Yeah. You are one of my go-tos. Kaz calls them the shut up and take my money authors. So yeah.
Fry meme.
Say again.
No, not Stephen Fry. What's it called? The Futurama. Have you ever seen Futurama?
I have. Used to watch it years ago.
Fry.
Fry?
Yeah, it's just Fry, not Stephen. Definitely not Stephen Fry. Well, if he was promoting my books, I wouldn't be too upset about it.
No, but I think I've still got a couple of Jake Tanners to go, but I'm almost caught up because I've been reading, obviously, publication day. So I've been reading Death's, not Justice.
Grip.
Thank you. Death's Grip today. And it's another one that it does just get you hooked straight from the start.
Thank you.
Another fantastic book.
Yes. Yeah, that one. So I mean, with the whole series, I started writing. So I mean, I sort of cheated with the whole series. So for the Jake Tanner series, I had an idea of doing a group of short stories. I'd written them all. I think there were about 8 or 9 of them in total, and they were roughly about 10,000 words each. Death's Push is sort of part of that. Death's Grip definitely is. Justice was a brand new one, which sort of came to me from ages ago. It was just a random idea, and I thought it can't necessarily fit into the Jake Tanner series. I need a new detective, a new main character, a new protagonist. Yeah. But Death's Grip was one of the short stories that I'd written, so I had a starting point. I knew how it was going to work, and that one was inspired by an image as well. So it was there was a little stock image of a playground with a swing, with a moody background. I just thought, let's kill someone there, and I did.
Why not? So Death's Push, we meet Tomek Bowen as a PC, so it's 15 years previous.
Yes.
You start off, what's the name of the nightclub? I wrote it down. Mayhem in Southend-on-Sea. So you've got the usual, it seems such a familiar scene to me, which says a lot about my misspent youth, I would imagine.
Well, so Mayhem, because the joy of writing this series is set in my hometown. So Mayhem is a club that I used to go to when I just turned 18. Spent many wasted nights there. It was a terrible club, to be fair. It was dead most.
All the best ones are, though, aren't
they? Yeah, I suppose. And it was obviously they had the cheap drinks, the free entries just to get people in. It doesn't exist anymore. So I feel like I can name it. I can get
Yeah.
away with naming it now, just in case they try to sue me or something. um, but yeah, Mayhem Nightclub, and there's in book 3, which I'm currently editing. There's a reference to a particular not famous, a local celebrity on the South End High Street called Penny Picker Steve. So I just remember him whenever I was going out on a night out. He would be in a fluorescent high vis jacket, just collecting pennies off the street, and he was famous throughout the throughout the town just for doing that. They called him Penny Picker Steve. However, in mine, he's going to be called Penny Picker Pete.
I love the way that you draw us in with something that's familiar to most people, whether you're a clubber or a drinker or not. You've either been to one of these clubs or you've walked past them, or your kids have been to them, or you've heard stories about them. Such a familiar thing. And I thought it was a really nice way to start that story off.
Yeah. I think that's partly to try and set the scene of Southend. I mean, I've not lived there in the Essex area for nearly 10 years now. But whenever I do go back, I can see how much it's changed. And obviously 15 years ago is roughly when I was there. So hopefully it's an accurate portrayal of what it was like way back then. So if you go there now and it's nothing like it, then that's not on me. It's not
Because it's not supposed to be.
exactly. It's not like that now.
So tell us a little bit about the plan for the whole series, because am I right in thinking there's 6 in Jake Tanner?
Yes. So there's 6. So for Jake Tanner, there were 6 full-length novels.
Yeah.
Which sort of finished that side of Jake's career, and then there are 9 novellas, which are shorter, sort of like pulp type things where you can read in an afternoon, and then there are 2 further full-length novels which follow him in his counter-terrorism career. But this one, I haven't got a set amount of books that I want to write. I want it to be one of those long-standing series.
Brilliant.
20 books, 15, 25, however many I can come up with. And I've only got 3 done. I'm in the middle of, well, I say I'm in the middle, I'm at the beginning of plotting book 4. I've got some ideas. Fortunately, I've got all of the short stories that I mentioned to lean back on, where I can just have a look at one of the synopses for that. And if I think there's more of a story there, then I'll try and get that out. I think it's a toss-up between 2 stories for book 4, but we'll see where that goes. And with the with the twist, shall we say, at the end of book 1, that's given me some breathing space of where to go with that character and Tomek.
Can you tell us anything yet about book 3? I know you're in the editing stages, but is it changing drastically?
From previous books, or just the way that
just from the plan that you had? Are you quite good at sticking to the plan?
Yes, yeah. I need to know what I'm writing, otherwise I can't do it. I've got about 16 different softwares that tell me scene by scene how it's going to happen. There's one called Plotter, Plottr, that does like a little, not like a mind map, but scene 1, scene 2, 3, 4, and so on. And I like to know what I'm doing, so then I sit at the desk, or I go down to Pret and sit in the coffee shop there, and I just know what I'm writing, get a couple of 1,000 words done, and I'll stick to that. And obviously, if things change, then I don't do beginning to end. I do sort of like all the way up to the first 25% maybe, and then to 50, and then 75, and so on. So it's in stages. So if things do change, I've got room for movement there. But I need to know where I'm going. And in terms of book 3, it's not changed that much, though when I was writing it, it did take a different path that I was expecting. So there's a particular character that I just made up. Tomek sitting there one day scrolling through this kid's Instagram, finds something, and then he gets a bit myopic with it. Excuse me. He gets a bit myopic with it, and then he takes that down an avenue, and then he becomes besotted with this idea that this kid may have something to do with what's going on. But yeah, I can give you a brief synopsis of book 3 if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, book 3, there is a serial killer that is going around killing people based on their allergies.
Ooh.
So, think of an allergy, it's possibly in there.
Now there is one I haven't heard of before. I like it. And you write so quickly that nobody's going to get to it before you.
Yeah.
But we'll come to that. That's a question I've got for later. So we will come to your writing speed. So Leslie says hello, and Jason Chapman says he's going to have a look for Plotter.
It's PLOTTR without the E, but you should be able to find it if you just type in Plotter as is.
So are we looking at an app, a website?
It's an app. I think it's a phone app, obviously iOS. I think there's an Android one as well. There's a Mac and a Windows desktop version. So yeah, you can just pay I think it's a one-off fee, and you've got that lifetime subscription. Unless, of course, it's changed since I got it and it's a monthly thing. But even so, it's really, really good. You can have all of your character notes in there, your scene cards. It gives you little templates on the beats that you've got to hit and everything like that.
Found it.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic.
Jason, let me know how you get on with it. I'm intrigued. Not now. You can watch Jack now, but, later. Let me know. Right. I've written down secrets, lies, not knowing people as well as we think we do, all wrapped up in a neat, if grim bow. You must have some fun coming up with these ideas.
I do. So Death's Justice, that one, I can't remember how that came about. So for those of you who don't know, the synopsis is someone is hunting down pedophiles and rapists that have recently been released into the local community. Hence the name Justice, Death's Justice. I can't remember where the idea for that one came from, but I think once I'd thought of it, I thought, right, this is going to be the first book in the series. I think this has got the best chance of hooking people into the series. We get to meet Tomek, who's arguably not likable. I don't think he's a particularly
I think he's likable.
You
I
do?
think he's likable. Yeah, I do like him. You can see how his past has shaped him. He can be a bit immature at times, and he's a bit flighty when it comes to women sometimes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad thing, each to their own. I think he's likable. I like him. I've not found him unlikable. Do you get people saying that they don't like him?
No.
Or do you just think he's unlikable?
I think it's just I think he's a bit unlikable. So his character is, hopefully he'll never see this, is based on someone I used to work with.
Okay.
And like you say,
must have softened the edges then from this person that you worked with, because
I
do think he is likable.
Don't get me wrong, I didn't dislike him. We got on fine. I think it was the women thing or the woman thing that I didn't particularly like about his character.
Right. Okay.
So I thought, right, okay, how can we take that aspect of his character and turn that into a nice positive arc where he comes out better at the end of it? Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. Yeah.
I do think it certainly adds lots of intrigue to, oh my God, what is he going to do next?
Yes. Yeah. In terms of book 2 or just?
In general, I mean, sticking with the theme of the, can we go as far as womanizing? Because he's got a good heart with it. He's not doesn't intentionally go into things with the idea of chucking people away. No. That's not how he comes across. He's not like that. But I
think I might have toned that down a little bit in some of the others, because I think at the beginning, or I think the way I wrote it, it came across as a bit sort of misogynistic and a bit of a prick. So I think I toned that down just to make him alleviate some of his badness, I guess you could say. But
it does make his life interesting.
Yes, yeah, and I think also with So with Death's Justice, the as you will have picked up on, his relationship with whoever he gets involved with helps him with his brother's death,
Yeah.
which I thought was a particularly nice way of weaving that in and shedding some light on what happened there. So the more he falls in love, the more he finds out about his brother's death.
And I don't want to say too much about it, but you do that in a very interesting way.
Mm,
But I
yeah,
don't want to give away what that is.
no, I mean, we can do. I'm happy to, but I think yes, I think I wanted to have a particular format where it was slightly different. So I'd read quite a few books of Kate Ellis.
Mm.
So I'm not sure if you've read any of hers.
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I tend to only get to read for authors that I'm interviewing.
Sure. No, yeah, that's fine. That makes perfect sense. Otherwise, you
So
would
it's not that
be
you're
doing.
not on my list, Kate. You absolutely are.
But so her book, she's got, I think, is marketed as history woven with the present. So there's a concurrent thing going on, and then for the past, it's usually like letters, or diary entries or things like that. And that was sort of what I wanted to bring into the Bowen series, where it's not quite either of those things, but it's nightmares essentially.
Yeah, I was.
His
That's the one I wasn't going to say. The dreams, the nightmares, but they're really useful, not just as for us as a reader, but it must be good for you as a writer as well, because you can do so much with them. And because the dreams, you've got that escapism. They don't have to be a certain way.
Yeah, I loved writing those things, especially because
and that comes across.
it's his point of view.
Yeah.
And I at the beginning of this series, I did toy with the idea of writing the entire thing from his POV rather than third person. But I think with mentioning obviously his attitude towards women, I didn't know obviously if I'm doing it as a POV, one, I'll probably get confused as as being that way, and two, it depends whether how much I tone it down or how obvious I make it.
Deb Day has said, "Evening, sorry I'm late, miss." So you should be. Michelle Kidd says hello. I'm clicking,
Hello?
but if you can hear the odd click, I'm clicking back to Facebook because everything is coming up as Facebook user, which so I have Facebook open as well at the same time. Jason Chapman says, "Have you ever written a scene that you've gone back to sometime later and wondered how you could have written such a scene because of graphic content?" Now, if that isn't the best question for you, I don't know what is.
Sadly, the answer is no. I don't. I feel quite desensitized to some of the stuff that I write, and particularly some of the stuff I see, like Squid Game, for example. That was particularly graphic, but I was
I've not
fascinated
seen
by it.
it yet.
No, okay.
Am I going to be really scared? You know, I'm a right wuss when it comes to actually watching things, don't you? So, am I going to be scared?
There's just a lot of blood. That's all it is. It's
I'm
not.
okay with gore.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the type of thing that I'm not too scared by, shall we say. What's your favourite dinosaur?
That's Kaz. So Kaz has said hello, you two, and what's your favourite dinosaur?
Do you know what? I don't know many. I work, so obviously part time. I work for Top Trumps, the card game, and we've got Dinosaurs Top Trumps pack, and I've probably looked through that pack dozens of times, but I couldn't tell you any of the names of the dinosaurs in there.
No, otherwise she'll kick us off. Leslie's saying, "Sounds like your books are dark and gritty." That is one word. You don't shy away from anything, do you?
No. As we were saying
Yeah.
offline, I don't think there's any topic that I don't particularly shy away from, whether it's paedophilia, rape. Obviously, you got to handle these things sensitively, and I try not to go into too much detail about the mechanics of it, I guess you could say. Yeah. It's more about, right, these people are paedophiles. This is sort of how they groom them, meet the people, and so on. Rather, Sorry, my screen just keeps going grey for some reason. What was I saying? Sorry.
Paedophiles.
Oh yes, yeah, that classic.
of all the prompts I've ever given.
I yeah, there's not too much that I don't really want to write about. So in my previous Jake Tanner series, there's human trafficking, drugs, gang cartels, a serial killer who's got a sort of BDSM type fetish thing. As I said about the allergies for book 3, it's just coming up with weird and wonderful ways to kill people, and I really enjoy it.
I'm so glad we're friends, Jack.
Yes, yeah.
And
That's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, I will keep you on the friendly side, definitely. Jane Roper says, what's your go-to when you're in prep?
A mocha. A mocha is what I live by, really. Is it wherever I go? I tried their pumpkin spice latte today, and it was terrible. But for food, it's just the bog standard bacon and sandwich baguette.
When I'm traveling, sometimes I'll have one of these. It's like a chicken salad with kind of, I don't even know what's in it, but it's really, really lovely. But it's really rich, so I have to be in the right mood for it.
Yes,
I don't really drink coffee; it makes me sleepy, so that'd be no good to
yes, so
traveling.
it has the opposite effect of what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's very rare that I can drink coffee. I don't know why.
So do you just have water and then you're buzzing or something? Is that
how it I'm always buzzing, always buzzing. I drink a lot of tea.
Okay, right, that explains it then.
Yeah, a lot of tea. And Jane says the books are utterly gripping and take really unexpected twists. That is definitely true.
Yes, yeah. Particularly in the first one, I can't remember how I came up with it. I think it's obviously the antithesis of how we meet Tomek. So when you first meet him, he seems the last person to have happen what happens to him at the end. And I thought that was what I wanted to have as his character arc. He starts, obviously, he's got to have some change, have some movement. He starts being this way, and then this thing happens to him at the end, and he needs to change. He needs to grow up from there.
So when I'm thinking about the locations, how different do you find it setting books in London and Essex? Because anyone who's never lived or been to either, you watch anything on the TV and it's almost like they're the same place. But are they really that similar in reality?
Not quite. I mean, London, I feel like London you can get away with a little bit more. You can just say there's a skyscraper, or it's near a skyscraper, or there's a council estate not too far away from where something's set. And Essex helps that it's my hometown, and it helps that, I mean, to be fair, when I was researching this series where to do these particular killings, I discovered that there are quite a few places, nice places that I hadn't really thought about. So, for example, it's quite a big county as well, to be fair. Canvey Island. I grew up on Canvey Island, and it's not a nice place in my.
So you had no problem doing the things that you did there?
No, exactly, and I think my reflection of Canvey Island comes through in book 2, where it's not a particularly nice place at all, and I feel like I can get away with saying that because I grew up there, and whenever I go there, I don't like staying there for too long. But in terms of whether they're similar or different, I think it's slightly. I'd say they're definitely different. It's been much more interesting writing about Essex as well, because everyone knows London. Everyone can sort of picture London, skyscrapers, tall buildings, full of people, and what have you. But when I can't remember who it was in the group, they put together that map of all of the UK, of where all of the books are set. By
Heidi Goody.
Yes. And
I'm not sure if Ian Grant did it with her, because she does co-write with Ian, but right, okay. I know Heidi was the one that shared the post.
Yes. And when I saw that map and I saw how many people were up in Yorkshire, or how many series were set in Yorkshire and further north in Scotland, and then down in the bottom right corner of the UK ish, middle right, there was hardly anywhere in Essex, with the exception of Solomon Carter, who writes in Southend as well. And I just thought, right, okay, set a series there. If I'm going to do it, I've got to sort of explain parts of Essex well, and the marshes as well. I didn't really know about those too much. Those were inspired by the helping of Google Maps, as well as the TV show Liar.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, where she goes kayaking in the little rivers and the marshes and things. That was a big inspiration, as you'll know. And I just thought that looks like, especially the bird's eye view of it, that looks lovely to look at. And I lived there for 18 years, and I didn't know that type of place existed.
I got your newsletter today.
Oh yeah.
And they're really good newsletters. I've had a couple of emails today because obviously I got Death's Push as well, so had the second one. And I noticed that you'd had an idea for Jake Tanner that you decided to use for Tomek instead. Is it instinctive for you now, knowing what story will suit which character?
Not particularly. I think so. With those stories, the short stories that I'd written for Jake, I think I just put those on hold for whatever reason. I think I was writing the novellas. I thought I'd get the novellas done first, and then I'll do the short stories. And then I never got around to the short stories, and I've now sort of put a hold on the Jake Tanner series. So I don't have any plans to write anything new for a while for him. So any new content will be solely for Tomek.
But you're only putting a hold on it. You're not saying never.
No, there will be more Jake, but it will be more thriller type books, James Patterson, Lee Child type things, because obviously it's terrorist attacks and things, just blowing stuff up.
All good fun for you in a book. Talk to me about the team. You're creating a great team here. I know that you're not scared to really go all in with the team as well. You know, I like how Tomek kind of he knows when to behave, but he knows when to push his luck. And I think that really helps with the depth of the relationships.
Yes.
So he might throw out a Saki sir sometimes, but he knows when to use it properly. Does kind of seem to stamp his feet a little bit, not literally, but you know, you can kind of tell when he's got the hump.
Yeah. You can tell when he's being a bit petulant.
Yeah. And I like that because I think that needs to come across, that you can see all the different aspects of his personality. And I like that. But the team are brilliant.
Thank you. I think so. Firstly, some of the feedback and reviews that I had from the Jake Tanner series was he's a detective constable. The way that he's talking to his superiors would not work. It would not be feasible. He would be off the team, whatever. So I thought, right, okay, Tomek's a detective sergeant, which is only one step up. So he's still not going to have enough credo to say what he really wants to these people. So I tried to have his relationship with DCI Nick Cleves, who is also known as Nasty Nick, to have them quite intimate, to have them friends outside of work, so that he can get away with saying these things. So he's not wholly unbelievable. And excuse me. And then as for the rest of the team, the inspiration for a lot of those characters just came from their nicknames.
I'm just reading this one. I like that it seems so moody, but he disagrees with the whole justice of killing the paedophiles. It seems very different to the rest of his character. Do you think he just knows right from wrong? I mean, it's such a tricky subject, and I don't think it's one I'd be brave enough to tackle on a page. Reading about the vigilantes and how things are done, I'm not sure that I really feel that sorry for the people who it's done to.
No, completely agree.
Can't.
No, yeah, I mean, so I've seen loads of Facebook videos on Facebook of these types of operations being set up and how they work. And yeah, not once have I felt sorry for these people that are trying to meet 10-year-old children.
No, not one bit. No.
No.
I think I have watched, I won't say who, he can come across as a quite controversial figure, but I think you might know who I'm talking about, unless it's an area thing, but I think he's quite a well-known paedophile hunter,
yeah,
shall we say.
Yeah.
So I did see one, and things kind of happened, and the paedophile involved took his own life afterwards,
right.
and the mother of this man's child blamed the paedophile hunter.
Okay.
Which I found quite
that's interesting.
Yeah, should we go with interesting? Save me, Jack, from what I'm going to say. Yes, we'll go with interesting, but it just shows there's so many different points of view, and I think what I'm trying to say is that you explore it really well.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't see who said that, Jason. But you do seem very comfortable within it, as we've said. No.
Yeah, I think going to Jason's point about it being different to the rest of his character, I think it's so there are two pools in the team of who agree and who don't. The other person that does agree with Tomek is the person that he doesn't like in the team. So his detective inspector, Tony Hunt, who I won't mention his nickname.
But it is a bit of rhyming slang for anyone who wants a clue.
Yeah, that should hopefully give it away. And yeah, I thought that was quite interesting to see how his character responds to that. He shares the same type of views and values with Tony Hunt, and yeah, it just, as we said, it's a very difficult subject to broach. So I thought I'd try and do both sides of it. So obviously his best friend is very staunch and says yes, get good riddance, whereas Tomek says no, let's not. So there are two sides. Obviously he sides with his nemesis, as it were, and disagrees with his best friend. So it's a good conflict to see him react to.
And it wouldn't be any good just to show everyone agreeing all the time, because then where's the the argument? Where's the interest?
Absolutely.
So what because one of the things that you discuss in book one is reoffenders. It's people who have been in prison, they've come out of prison, and then they're being set up to see if they reoffend again.
Yeah.
And did you do any research on that? Because it must be quite a fascinating topic, and there's so much more to it, isn't there, than people just do something bad and go to prison. There's obviously this whole life story that leads up to that. It's rarely just one thing that they do wrong and then they're in prison. There's generally a backstory to that. So did you do much research on reoffending rates, or was it really just more about the story?
It was more about the story. I didn't do too much research into it. I thought I felt like if I researched it too much, I'd possibly get bogged down into the statistics and things like that, and trying to educate, I guess you could say, rather than tell the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it
I didn't
does.
want to do too much of that.
Yeah, and really, you're focusing on this bunch of people who are reoffending. That was the thing you were going with.
Yeah, and once you find out the killer's motivations, it all makes sense.
It all wraps up a nice, neat, grim bow again. Sarah has asked if there a subject you won't write about. We did touch on this a little bit. Have you come up with anything you wouldn't touch? You've got nothing, Sarah?
No, I think it might all be fair game. Maybe. No, I think nothing comes to mind. I think all ages are maybe with the exception of what's been happening recently with I can't remember the woman's name, but the baby hospital nurse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm not sure what her name is.
No, I think maybe that type of thing.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Mm.
We found a limit, Sarah. Sarah's saying dogs.
Dogs. What? Someone killing dogs? I mean, I love dogs. I love cats because I have a cat. Never used to like them. However, I think they're possibly fine to murder. I mean, it has to make sense. If someone's just going around killing dogs, then it's a bit weird.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's just one or two dogs, then it it wouldn't be too bad, I guess. But no, yeah, I don't think, because obviously having researched serial killers and things like that, that's where it particularly starts for some of them, killing innocent animals, and then they just progress that further up the food chain. So
Is there anything that you have either scaled up or scaled down during your editing process? Have you ever thought, maybe I've not gone in enough on this and I really need to? Or, oh, that's that line I didn't think I had that I might have just crossed there. Let's just pull back a bit.
nothing comes to mind.
I do love that about you. You will just go for it. You literally just go with where the story takes you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I'm just trying to think of the ways that I've killed people. But I mean, burning someone alive, tied to a lamppost. That was, dare I say, fun. Just I just really enjoy writing these types of scenes. And I feel like I don't think there are particularly limits to what I will write, how much detail I'll go into. I'm just trying to think what else.
We can't really talk about some of them though, can we? Because you would be giving spoilers for different things.
It gives some of it away. Yes, I mean, so for Death's Justice, I think the way that these people are killed is a fair reflection of what they've done.
Wondered how you were going to word that. Okay.
I guess you could say it's very just, very deserved. Think of it as they'll never be able to do it again. We'll leave it at that, shall we?
Laura's saying she's going to watch on catch up as she's travelling home from work, but she's enjoying Bowen Book 1.
Okay, well, thank you very much for trying
it. Somebody has said, it's Jason that's saying, give it a couple of years, someone will write a series about the nurse. They have with Fred and Rose and some other high profile cases. Yeah, I'm sure somebody will.
Yep. Yeah.
But you're not planning on it being you?
Never say never.
We'll see. Okay, does current news inspire you? Do you ever take inspiration from the news? See Not Lucy Letby, which is the nurse's name, but for example, the escaped terror suspect recently.
It's going to sound quite hypocritical of me to say this, but I don't actually watch the news.
I don't.
We don't have a
Which
TV.
I know sounds awful, but unless there's something that's local to me, probably that I think it's very easy to get sucked into the news and then do nothing else but worry about the world.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You need a balance, I think.
Yeah, like we don't have a TV license, so we don't have access to news, BBC News at 6, 11, 1, whenever it's on.
24 hours.
Yeah, I turned off the notification. I deleted the BBC News app just because, I never used it. 2, it was always depressing. And 3, I'm better off not knowing about
and
these.
4, it's constantly pinging. So I got rid of it as well.
Exactly. But obviously, with the exception of the Lucy Letby thing, the woman that went missing
Nicola Buller.
Yeah, that's the one. That was that the river one where they couldn't find her. Yep. And they're usually just sort of discussions in the office where people have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Or my other half has mentioned it at some point, and then that's when I take a vague interest, and I don't particularly look at the details of the news. I just think, book wise, could something be transferred into a book?
Somebody said, if you don't watch the news, this is Jason again. Leslie's saying the news is terribly depressing. Jason says, if you don't watch the news, where do you get your inspiration from? I mean, you've touched on this a bit, but do you want to go into a bit more detail?
Yeah, so a couple of the sources of inspiration are sometimes images. So if I see a nice image of something, so like a boat in a mudland or something, or the marshes in Lyre, for example, are quite graphic in that sense. I think, right, okay, someone could, I don't know, either be washed up there, drowned, murdered, floating, or something. Someone could be murdered nearby, and so on. Again, with book two, Death's Grip, the inspiration was for a swing in a playground. Death's Justice was, I can't remember that one.
Yeah, you said that before.
That just came to me from somewhere. Death's Push was, so also to answer your question, Jason, the titles of each book relate to the murder in some way. So Death's Push is about someone being pushed off something. Death's Justice is about getting justice on these pedophiles. Death's Grip is about a girl being strangled or dangled from a swing in a park. Death's Touch is about allergies being used to kill victims. So there are references there, and I think going forward, some of that will detract from it, but there will be hints to it. So that's largely it, I think.
One of the other things I noticed the name Sean Campbell in one of the books. So it's made me wonder how often you use people's names that you actually know.
That is completely.
Was that by accident?
That is completely by accident. Yeah.
Fair enough. So you've not got people in there whose names you've used
not that I'm
on
aware
purpose.
of. No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, so for names, I'm terrible with names. I think for Sean, so his nickname is Sean Kingston after the American rapper. Or I'm not sure if you can call him a rapper. I think he's just a singer. And I can't remember where the surname Campbell came from. I think it's similar. K Campbell Kingston. I think that might have been it. But for some names, I will go onto a random Facebook page and look for someone's first name and match it with someone's surname. So there may be a few Brownlees in the series.
You do have a Samantha briefly, but I wasn't assuming that she was based on me in any way.
I can't remember who that is.
Trying to think myself now, because I've gone over Death's Justice again today. I'm reading, and then I read Death's Push. And now I'm halfway through the next one. So I've got it confused in my head today. It's hard to separate it out when you do it all in one day.
Yeah, you get a bit. Yeah,
somebody in the office somewhere. No, can't think. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, as soon as we finish.
Yeah, of course it will. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. Set up wide awake. That was it. Right, and I'm gonna be. I actually wrote this down because how long did it take to write each book? And when I say how long, what I really mean is how long. Like basically what we want, I know we'll have discussed process before, but for anybody here who's writing a book, we want tips.
Okay.
So how long do you spend plotting?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to write book 2, Jack?
So book 2 I managed to finish in about 30 days. So book 1 I've been planning for on and off for a couple of years. So there was, I think it was 2021 was when I first started writing about or coming up with the ideas for it. Then I put it on hold to do Jake Tanner stuff. Then I revisited it earlier this year, and I finished. I think I wrote from start to finish, writing about 95,000 words in about a month and a half. I think it was. Book 2. So while I was writing book 1, I planned a book 2, and also some ideas for book 3. I wrote from start to finish book 2 in about 30 days, so roughly 3,000 words a day, which is my target, which I like to hit. So as I said, going to sit in prep, or if I'm working on the commute in to work, that's an hour and a half roughly. So I get to do about 1,000 words on the train, then some in lunch, and then 1,000 words on the way back. But if I'm sitting in the coffee shop, I mean, so for book 1, I think my max was about 7,000 that I did in one day, and that was towards the end where I was like fully in the groove, fully in the flow. Book 2 was book 3 was slightly harder, just because of the structure of managing book 1 and book 2 at the same time, trying to launch those, edit, and all those bits. But book 3 was slightly longer. That took roughly about 2 months. I mean, I had a week or two off, which put me out of the flow, and then I had to try and get back into it again. And now for book 4, I need to start planning that. Fortunately, I've got a week of holiday next week, so I had planned to. My girlfriend doesn't know this, so she'll probably be able to hear in the other room, actually. So I look forward to that conversation after. But we're only dog sitting. It's not like we're going anywhere. Hopefully, I want to get a plan done by the middle of next week, so in about a week's time, and then start that, and then hopefully get that done by the end of October. I think I do have a little schedule of when I need to have things written by.
I'm not shocked. That sounds exactly like what you'd need to have to be able to do what you do and write how you write.
Yes, yeah, and the plan with this series has been to publish a lot of books in a short space of time. So book 1 was August the 8th, I think. Book 2 is today. Book 3 will be October the 17th. So that was about 5 weeks or so. And then book 4 will be December. So it'll be 1 month, 1 month, 1 month, and then 2 months. And then hopefully 2 months thereafter.
You said when you were really thinking about Tomek that you did dialing back slightly on some of the aspects. Is he turning out now how you expected him to, or are you kind of changing little things as you go?
No, I think I'm quite happy with where he is at the moment. He's had his major character arc change with the ending of book 1. So that's been an adjustment for him. He's still getting to grips with that, with what happened to him. And yeah, it's a learning process. And what I've really enjoyed with this is, as Kath mentioned earlier in her post, is blending the two of them together. So that the storyline of Tomek, his personal life, with what's going on in the murder investigation, and tying those two in. And in book 3, the two lines get much closer. And I want to sort of take my time with the way that the Tomek's personal life develops, rather than sort of getting it done by book 4 or 5, because obviously it's a massive adjustment what's happened to him. There's learning processes, learning stages for both individuals.
Yeah.
and I've already got plans for how to ruin his personal life as well. Something else that can happen to him. So
I tried to think. I mean, the poor man's been through so much, and we're only on book 2. For anyone who doesn't know, the Kath that Jack just mentioned is Kath Middleton, lovely admin, very talented author, and you should go and read something by her as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Jason, I believe it is, has said writing books is not easy.
Absolutely not.
No, keeping you busy. I'm not going to ask that because it could be a bit of a spoiler. I was just thinking about favourite scenes, because you've talked about different ways that you've killed people off. But is it too much of a spoiler to ask if you've got an absolute favourite way you've done it?
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. I think for book one, probably. I think it's probably the original Killing, the first one that
Okay.
we see, and maybe book two where he, or sorry, I shouldn't have said where he, maybe where she, um, where little Annabelle Lake is murdered. I quite enjoyed writing that one just because it was from the little girl's point of view. So she's taken wherever she is, moved into the playground, and what she thought was going to be a game is no longer a game.
And this happens very early on. This is not kind of a
No,
huge spoiler. And I
no.
believe there's something about it in the blurb as well.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, we can probably mention that one.
Yeah, I think that's okay. What I want to say, because we are coming up towards we're not at the end of the hour yet, but we are rapidly getting there. We really loved having you at the Leeds event, our first live in-person event that we did. So thank you for joining us there. Was it really nice being on a panel with some of your mates?
It was actually, yeah, it was. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. I didn't know what to expect, but I mean, obviously, I've done an interview like this way back when. I think it was 2021 where we did my first online one. So I sort of knew what to expect. I didn't think it was going to be too terrible. I didn't think you were going to ask me too many questions I couldn't answer. But it was really, really nice. It was really, really good day up. Thank you. It was lovely to meet everyone as well.
I thought it was really lovely, and there's something really nice because I've done different events, and one of the nice things was it wasn't kind of a huge room. I knew either by face or by name or because they've become friends. We knew a lot of the people in the room. Sarah saying the panel was fantastic. And we've got really, really supportive people that come up. So you can you already know your audience because we've done so many of these now. You kind of know what to expect and what you can say and what you can't say. And we had some giggles, and we there's a word that I only ever use in interviews, giggles. It's not a word that I normally use. We laughed, people kind of, we took the mickey out of each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Asked things and talked about things that maybe were a little off topic, but that made it more interesting as well. And you were all ribbing each other and you all knew each other's books. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was very good. I'm looking forward to next year's.
We are going to have to tie Tom Reed's phone to him. So T.G. Reed is another author, lost his phone. I said to him before he went looking all over the building, have you checked your bag? Yeah, it's not in my bag. Where was his phone, Jack?
It was wasn't it in his coat pocket, or was it?
No, it was in his bag. Exactly where I said. Yeah, is it in the pocket on your bag? No.
Oh, that's right. It was pocket. Yeah, pocket.
Yeah, and it was in the pocket on his bag. His poor wife's running around looking for his phone. Everyone's looking. So yeah, don't trust Tom to hide the treasure and then remember where it is when it's time to bury it up.
Yeah, that's classic. Yeah, it's classic dad move. That.
Carolyn Mills says, I have a couple of Jack's books on my Kindle waiting to be read. This chat has bumped them up to my next on my TBR list. Carolyn, you are in for a gruesome treat.
I hope you enjoy them. Thank you.
They're really funny. That's something we've not talked about, the humour. I know kind of we talked about sometimes Tom X a bit juvenile, but it really works in the moment.
Yes, yeah. So that I'm quite happy with the humour. My other half will tell you that I'm not funny at all. I like to think I am, and I think a lot of the wit, shall we call it, or the sarcasm, comes from me. There's a lot of the things that he says and a lot of the things that the other characters might say are sometimes my take on certain things or certain topics that are completely unrelated to murdering. It's just, yeah, I think I had a lot of, I think that was slightly different. Well, that was what I wanted to do slightly differently with this series versus the Jake Tanner series. I wanted it be a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit less serious. So, well, yes, the crimes are gruesome and it's all a serious subject matter. I wanted the interactions to be slightly less so. and I've had a lot of fun writing the humorous elements to it, which is something that I do wish I could have done for the Jake Tanner series. But yeah, it's definitely been much more enjoyable writing it because of the humor, finding ways to make little comments or funny things to happen.
I do think it's the little comments, it's the black
Mm.
humour. Just
Mhm.
at the moment when you think, oh, okay, and then you throw something in and I'll laugh and then get back into it again. I think it's perfect comic timing.
Thank
Don't know
you.
what your girlfriend's talking about, honestly. You must be saving it all for the books.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm absolutely dry in person.
I think you were pretty funny on the panel.
Yeah,
Whereas I think I'm funny, but I don't think I actually really am based on the amount of eye rolls my husband and the kids give me. So
I think that's just a family reaction, isn't it? My
yeah,
mum,
they've had a
my
bit
mum
too
had
much
not
of me, I
mine.
think.
Yeah,
Lockdown, and then I'm working from home all the time, so they can't escape me. It's all part of my evil
they
plan.
don't they don't want to.
Oh, they do. We have got 2 minutes left. That hour has absolutely flown.
It
Do you
has.
want to give us a reminder? I'm going to ask you to do something quickly.
Oh yeah.
There's a little cog above your image at the bottom of the screen,
Oh yeah.
and there's a tick box in there that says mirror camera. So
Mirror.
you'll either have to
Yeah, yeah.
tick it or untick it.
What do you need me to do? Untick it.
If it's ticked, untick it.
Yep. Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
There we go. I want people to see these covers. I want the books the right way around. And now on my screen, for the viewers, they will be. So go for it. Show these books off.
that looks right, doesn't it?
Look at that. I love that cover. It's one of my
So,
favourite covers.
oh, hang on.
Not
So,
just of your books, of books. It's one of my favourites.
thank you. So I designed the covers in the series myself,
Whoa.
using a rudimentary understanding of Photoshop. And this particular image, so this is a place called Tollsbury Marina in Essex, where the denouement or denouement, however you pronounce it,
Denouement.
denouement of book one takes place. And this particular image is taken by a school friend's dad. So he very, very politely and generously granted me permission to use this image in
Wonderful.
the covers and any marketing and things that I want to do. And yeah, it's one of my favorite covers that I've done. And there, I think I'm going to use a couple more of his images as well. And it helps that some of the photos are local, because otherwise, I mean, so for book two, Death's Grip, the boats on the book cover for that are some boats up in Scotland, I think, which people seem to like pointing out. But we must remember that it's a book cover. It's not the actual. It's not real. But no, yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. I love the the little boats and the broken marina building, whatever it is. So
And
this
it
is
screams crime, doesn't it? You know it's crime fiction. Even without the title of Death Justice, you'd look at that and you get that eerie feeling. There's that creepiness about it that you kind of need.
again, that was a choice, just because I mean I've seen obviously loads of Tom's to T.G. Reid's covers are similar to this with
Yeah.
landscapes.
Yeah.
Even like Val McDermid's, Annie Cleves, and Rachel McLean, Simon McCleaves. They're all similar to this type of thing, where it's location.
Very evocative, and you know what you're getting.
Exactly. You immediately know what you're getting.
Yeah. And we
So,
are judging books by the covers, even though we're not supposed to, because they're brilliant covers.
I don't mind.
Have you only got that one with you?
Yeah, I haven't got any book two at the moment, unfortunately.
Right. Well, we can sort that out in the group at some point. So drop one of us a message about that. We've got thank yous. Somebody has said, behind every great writer is a husband or wife rolling their eyes. That's Jason.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to screenshot that and stick that up on the wall.
Leslie's saying she does like the book covers to be relevant to the book and the places in the book. So
yes.
Brilliant. Yeah. Further congratulations. Thank you to everyone for joining us, but thank you, Jack, for choosing the UK Crime Book Club to celebrate your launch day.
No, thank you for having me. And again, thank you to everyone in the group, and thank you to you guys for all that you do to champion us little people that we just sit at our desks and kill people.
Well, you all make it so easy for us. It's so enjoyable. So thank you, and I look forward to you coming back for another chat.
Yes, yeah, I'll be back soon. Maybe not book 3. That's too soon.